Hi, and welcome to this lesson on how to read sheet music. I'm going to go through the very basic things. So this is a lesson for those who don't have a clue and for those who are unsecure about certain basic things. I'll start by teaching you where the notes are located on the sheets and on the piano and what the key names are. Then I'm going to go through the basic science as sharps, flats, and so on. I'm also going to talk about fingering, dynamics, and key signatures. So, let's get started. What you're looking at here is the basic staff. You got the treble clef that basically is meant for the right hand and the bass clef that is meant for the left hand. But this rule can be broken, of course, but usually not in a beginner piece. In the middle of this staff, see the middle C. On the far right is the C above the middle C, and on the far left is the C below the middle C. And there are exactly 6 white keys in between each C. As you might understand, the notes continue in each direction, but it follows the exact same pattern as you now see. This is something you'll get better and better at once you use it. What I did in the beginning was that I memorized only the middle C, where it was on the staff and on the piano. Then, since I knew the system, I counted up and down, up and down and up and down, and suddenly I knew the upper C and the lower C. Then I had new places to count from, and after a month or so I automatically knew all the notes both on the staff and on the piano. It's actually quite easy when you know the system. It's the C, then the D, E, F, G, A, and finally the B until it starts over again on the C. And it's like that in both directions until the piano runs out of keys. The faster you memorize this, the faster you can concentrate on the music. Okay, sharps and flats. I guess you have seen the black keys by now. They are sharps and they are flats. If you see a sharp in front of a note, you have to raise it with 1/2 step. And if you see a flat in front of a note, you have to lower that note with 1/2 step. So what is a half step? It's actually the very next key. If you see the lower C on the image, right? Raising this a half step gets you up on the black key. Another half step and you are down on the D. And so on and so on. If you were to go a half step down from the lowest C, you are not jumping to the black key, because then you would actually be jumping over the B. So a half step are basically moving on to the very next key. And between the white keys there usually is a black key, except from in between the E and F and the B and C. So in example 1, as you know by now, is a C. The sharp in front of it indicates that you have to raise with 1/2 step. So as I have already talked about, you are then up on the black key. That is a C sharp in this case, since it's a sharp that is being used. The same happens to the A, that also got a sharp in front of it. It's now up on the black key, that we now call the A sharp. Then on to the 2 flats that you see. On the first E on the staff, you got a flat sign in front of it. This will then lower it down to the black key, that we now call E flat. Then on top we can see the G also got a flat in front of it, and this is now forced 1/2 step down to the G flat. When either a sharp or a flat or any other accidentals, which they are called, appears in the sheet music, they last for 1 full bar. As you can see from the top example here, the F that you see goes back to normal after the bar line. Let's listen to how it sounds. In example number 2, you can see the neutral sign in front of the second half note. This means that the sharp shall no longer mean anything for the F's in that bar or in other bars. Let's listen to this example. So, moving on. Our hands got a number attached to it. As you can see from the picture, the thumbs are both number 1 and the pinkies are both number 5. I guess this doesn't need any further explanation. But now you can see why this is a good thing though. In the marked place you can see numbers. This is actually the C major scale. The numbers are in this case the right way to play the C major scale. In regular sheet music they are often used as suggestions on how to use your fingers, especially when the fingering isn't obvious. To play this you start with your thumb, then you use your index finger, then the middle finger, before you have to tuck your thumb underneath to place it on the F, and then continue like it's written. Same procedure on the way down. Then it would sound something like this. These are the basic notes and the basic rests you will see when you read sheet music. When the time signature is 4/4, a whole note lasts for a full bar, as you can see from the first example. You can fit 2 half notes in a bar, 4 quarter notes, 8 eighth notes, 16 16 notes, and so on. The same goes for rests. This is how bar 1 would sound like. And bar 2, bar 3, and in bar 4 you can see that it's a half note and 2 quarter notes in this bar. This is important. The half note is played and held for the first half of the bar, and then the quarter notes are played as they are and completing the bar. I'll give you an example for this bar as well. And then bar 5, that also consists of different notes, and so on. The tie means that you are going to hold the note as if it was both notes, if that made any sense. I'll give you an example, and this is not how to play this example. But this is the way to play it. Okay, then we got legato. This means that you should play the notes in one sweeping motion. Just listen. And then we got the staccato, that is the opposite of legato. You are now going to jump on the keys like this. Just hear the difference. Then we got the glissando. This is when you slide from the first note and all the way to the last note like this. Then there's the trio. It's played in the place of 2 notes. Not like this, but like this. The note you see here with a dot after it lasting for itself and added half of itself. This quarter note is now a quarter and a half note. In the next example you can see this little duck sign, and this means that you're going to accent the note it's written above, like this. In the next example you can see there are 2 dotted lines on each side of some notes. This means that everything in between these lines are going to repeat 1 time unless a number is given. After you have repeated 1 time, you are going to continue the piece as normal. I'm not gonna talk a lot about the dynamics. Just pause the video at this picture and you can see the basic dynamic signs. So the key signatures. As you can see from my examples, you can see what key signature it is depending on how the sharps or flats are placed in the beginning. You can see in my D major example that there are 2 sharps, the C's and the F's. This means that every C and F in this piece are automatically sharped. In the E major example you can see there are 4 sharps. Every C, D, F and G's are automatically sharped. What notes that are sharped or flatted depends on what key the piece is written in. So when you start a piece, look at this place to find out what key the piece is written in. So finally, I'll just say that this is a lot easier than it might look like. Practice and dedication, and this will be easy in no time. Hope this helps, and please let me know. Comments and rates make me happy, like a sharp. No comments and no rates make me silly, like a flat. And I'll promise you I won't stay neutral if you subscribe to my channel. So, goodbye.